So yes, Bhavya, how are you feeling being at ISB campus? I understand that you've already spent the first week, orientation week at ISB. So how are you feeling being in ISB Hyderabad in that amazing campus of yours?
It's been a great week, and like past 1 week I've tried almost all the activities on the campus. It's just like 1 year, and they call it year of transformation. So like that spirit of year of transformation has already gotten into us, and they have the previous batch, so cohort of 2024, they organized this 1 week of interaction, jam-packed schedule, and we had classes and all those activities, and it's been really great. And I mean, by the end of this week, I already have partied thrice or 4 times. I've
So
been sleeping
it's
just
not
for,
just studies, it's
yeah,
all or like it's about every sphere of the life you have to enjoy, right?
not every year. I've already learned a new sport. So frisbee is like Hyderabad's specific sport, and I've already learned it. I've already won
Oh my God.
like a section war frisbee competition, and it's been really great. So sports, acads, and networking, everything is happening all at once, and I think that there's just one thing that I've been compromising on, and that is sleep.
Sweet, yeah. I could guess that. So Bhavya, again, we generally do interviews with people when they have not entered the campus. So in your case, everything happened so fast. Like I remember that like you had to wait a little bit to get the result. It happened in your favor. Your let's say employer was not ready to leave you, and you had to visit Hyderabad on the last day. So first time we are doing an interview with someone on the campus, basically. So I'm really excited that you can actually talk about a lot about ISB as well. But let's first start with the journey. Okay, the journey is more important because I'm sure a lot of people are tuned in gonna watch this video as well later to understand how a strong application can actually take care of a, let's say, slightly below par GMAT score. Because what I understand is that your GMAT was a 670 on the GMAT Classic, which is 40 points lower than the average GMAT, which these like ISB expects from students. And this year, 2023 in specific, like 2023 for the 24 admission cycle, was even more competitive. I've seen people with 750, 760s getting rejected. So getting in with the 40 point below the average score is an amazing thing. And I'm sure a lot of people will take inspiration from you and understand how the application can actually take care of the other aspects. So let's get started on that. But let's first talk about how when did you start thinking about ISB? Why ISB in particular? Like let's start with the initial journey. Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all, I would like to thank you, Piyush. Whatever has happened in past 6 months, it's been because of you. And I was really, I have been preparing for GMAT for a long time, and I've been thinking that I want to get into a B school for a very long time. But it was because of your dedicated efforts that I actually was able to convert an application. So, really thank you. And so I'll just talk about the journey
Sure.
in whole, like from where this I started. So I started in 2020, and I gave my first GMAT on self preparation, and I got a 670 score. So I had a fair idea of what things I need to work on, and it was majorly verbal. Quant was all fine because I have an engineering background, but my work didn't allow me to prepare well. So I've been working for at least 13, 14 hours in a day with JP Morgan, and it was like really hectic at work. And within that 2 years of time frame, I was called to US twice, and like all those things that were being that were happening simultaneously, it just really didn't allow me to prepare my applications and give another GMAT attempt. And although I was preparing here and there, but I was not able to get a better score. Um, I mean, and then I just reached out to you on November 15th, after giving my first, my last GMAT score, and I didn't get a better score. So I was like,
I
dude,
was just
I'm
going
canceling
to
this.
ask you, how do you remember the date? But now I understand that it was the date when you
Yeah,
did the GMAT. Okay.
it was I mean, I remember that horrible day where I dedicated all my Diwali vacation to like just preparing for GMAT, and like all my holidays have gone into preparing for the exam. And then when I get that 650 flashing on the screen, I was like, dude, this is not happening, and I have to get into B school this year, and I really need a better score for it, or else how am I going to do it? So that was like my first starting point. But I knew that reaching out to you will help me. So if, like on the day, on my ride back to airport, so I gave my GMAT in Bhopal, and
Okay.
I had to return to Mumbai. So on my way back from the Bhopal center to airport, I was actually like just assessing what happened and what has already, like all the devastation that has already happened, and what should be my next action plan, because round one admit had already gone. Round two admit deadline was 7 December, and this is happening on November 1st, 2nd, like a week right after Diwali. So it's like the deadline is really tight. I haven't worked on my application at all. And although I had fair idea of what my strengths and weaknesses were, but I really didn't know how to like write it down, and how to figure out which one are the ones that I actually need to write down in the essays. So I mean, all over the place. And then I just reached out to you, and the confidence that you gave to me, that it could happen. I've heard you, and your profile is strong, and you can get a admit into ISB is when I was truly sure, and I got onboarded with the journey. Now coming back to why ISB. So I wanted to do an MBA because I was already reaching a class ceiling in terms of my growth in my organization. So I needed an MBA. I mean, I knew what, like I've grown into the organization organically, but I needed to know, like widen my domain knowledge. And that could only happen either, I mean, I switched job constantly, or I could do an MBA program, which
MBA
gave
skill
me an
acquisition.
so, and secondly, I didn't want to go outside India. So in India, I think either like, and for a person with 5 year of work, a 1 year of MBA made more sense. So either it was ISB or it was IMA, Ahmedabad, the PGPX programs and all. So ISB is one of the best in India, and that's why I targeted for it. And it was just for, like the I targeted for just ISB, and I got into it. So it was like
Quickly,
all
that's
my efforts have been very sharp, very direct,
very
and
focused,
uh,
basically. Yeah.
very focused. So, and it was really required because I mean, I didn't have time to apply for multiple colleges. I didn't have time to even like write down application or even go through the process, application process for uh, 2, 3 colleges as well. So I
And
needed to,
ISB is something which is like top of the league. Like you have a
yeah,
like I would say I am Ahmedabad and Bangalore are great programs nonetheless, but still there is a significant gap between a ISB and a I am Ahmedabad 1 year program basically. If I compare the 1 year
yeah,
program of the two, so definitely like ISB is something which a lot of people only aim for. So this year, I guess out of the people that I worked with, you and Sazer, two of you only focused on ISB. That okay, if it is ISB, I'm gonna go. If it is not ISB, I'm not gonna go for an MBA. I'll try next year. So I like that commitment. I like that razor sharp focus. That really helps.
yeah. And I mean, even as compared to 2 year MBA, the kind of quality, peer quality we are getting in ISB, it's really, I mean, it's
Top-notch.
quite nice, and it's comparable to the 2 year MBA as well. We have work ex, we have minimum 2 year of work ex over here. So people are coming with a lot of background into and domain knowledge, and it's really great to have peer-to-peer learning happening over here rather than just running behind the placements at the end of the year.
So
So
the
that's
experience
great.
is completely different. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's talk about this journey. So you said around 15th of November is when you thought about, okay, we had a discussion, we talked about getting into ISB and we decided we would go forward. 7th of December is the deadline. That is what, about 3 weeks of time. Again, I do remember in those 3 weeks also that after almost a week of working with you, I was in Jaipur, like I was staying in Gurgaon, but I was in Jaipur, and I remember the place where I was talking to you as well right now in my mind, and because it was a very intense discussion, and you were like, you know what, I'm not really sure. I have talked to like some people, and I feel that my score might not be good enough. And I saw the doubt coming in again, and it's just genuine because you have put in your 100% into GMAT and everything. You're putting in 100%, and you want the outcome to be in your favor. And I was there standing and telling you, Bhavya, don't worry. Let's give our 100%. The worst thing is that we will get rejected because of our GMAT application. If we do strongly, profile is good. We have to get the application right, and if we get the application right, then the only reason would be GMAT score, and we can work towards improving that, give them a better score this year, next year, whenever we'll get it through. So I remember those doubts also that came into your mind. I know that 20-day journey was very intense. So how did you plan the journey out? What was the structure like? How did you start with your applications? Did you directly jump into the essays, or what did you do first? What was the process that you followed?
So yeah, I mean, doubt was the first thing that came to my mind when I started preparing, and those baby steps of even like planning the failures. Uh, you planned the failures with me. We were not just planning the success together. We planned the failures together. So we knew that if it is not going to work out this year or with this attempt. We'll always send a revised score if I'm able to like better my score in that time frame. And even if that is not happening next year, I just have to all my application is sorted, my LORs is sorted, I just have to apply with a better score. So we knew, and this step by step breaking down of the journey actually made it more sense for me to apply for ISB this year. I mean, uh, if I didn't have a strong reason to put my efforts into it, I wouldn't. So, like that first clearing of doubt with logical reasoning was, I think, most important to start the journey with. And then you started off with the STAR framework Excel. So, you we didn't jump on to working on
Excellent.
the essays directly on work, like analyzing the strengths or weaknesses. You gave me a comprehensive Excel on in which I had to reflect upon all the projects that I had done, all the strengths and weaknesses, and instances where I had shown those strengths and weaknesses, and uh, that not only helped me to analyze my experience in a more structured way, but it also helped me give the confidence that I have done it. And my application also has a good amount of material that could impress the
Adcoms.
admission committee. So that is one thing. And then it coming from you, like the constant reassurances actually mattered a lot. I cannot focus more on the reassurance part, because I mean, for me, I'm personally a person with a lot of anxiety, and with every step I would rethink that, do these efforts actually make sense. I have a lot of hundred things going on apart from the application as well, and those things are also important. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep a balance between all the things, and those things are also important. And then if this doesn't seem to be something that I would be gaining something out of, I would have stopped. So like that process. And so the star
I
framework
just
process.
deep dive into that. So again, I totally understand the, like, you're preparing for GMAT in 2020. It's a very long journey,
Yeah.
and anxiety happens. I can't even imagine. I had to wait for my MBA result to come for like 7 days because it got delayed by 7 days. And those 7 days I was super anxious because I had put my 100% into it. So it is natural. It is natural. And in that anxiety, sometimes what happens is people plan things wrong. I've seen, and this is very important for all the viewers out there. I've seen people working on ISB essays, and not just ISB, other B school essays also, directly jumping into the essays part. They go to the essay prompts And for those who don't know the essay prompts, ISB had three essay prompts this year. One was around your achievements and your failures. One was around your strengths and your weaknesses, more around who you are as an individual and what your principal strengths and weaknesses are. And one was around the career alignment, and that was something which is an optional essay. So many times people look at these things and they say, okay, you know what, I have to just think about my achievements, my failures, my strengths. But that's a very wrong way to start with. You cannot think about individual instances and put it into an essay and think that ISB will actually like it. That's the possible best possible outcome that you can deliver. No, you always have to look at things like, okay, where do I stand today in my career? What are the skills that I have portrayed? What is my long-term goal? And you have to align the long-term goal with these skills to kind of understand that what are the best, let's say, proof of concepts that you can give to ISB. So let's say, for example, you want to get into a management consulting role. You have to showcase skills like adaptiveness. You have to showcase skills like problem solving. You have to showcase skills like client management or relationship management, stakeholder management, those kind of things, creative solutioning. So you have to understand which skills work best for which roles, basically. And then in your stories, you need to strengthen those pointers. Again, it has to be related to the instances that you have done. And that's where this entire effort of Star Excel, which Bhavya was calling, we call it data dashboard, comes into picture, where we divide everything into specific areas. We talk about, we ask the students to put in values, their strengths, their weaknesses, their achievements, leadership initiatives, probably so many different data items we ask them to populate. And as Bhavya said, it's not just about uh, us getting to know you, it's also about you getting to know yourself in a slightly different way. So that really helps, and that should be your starting point. That should be done. In fact, in the beginning, I always recommend people to think about their goal alignment also. Sometimes people don't think about goals well, like they just think, okay, you know what, management consulting is the thing I should go for, but is that really, does that really make sense with your profile? Like, is investment banking better option? Is let's say product management a better option? So you have to look at what aligns well with your profile. Obviously, initially you might not be 100% sure. Later on, when you join the school, you might change your thought process as well as you move forward. But you need to have some sense of clarity about what you need to do and align your skills with that. So that's an exercise which, like I think Bhavya, we followed for about like good 7 days. Even out of 20 days, around 7, 8 days we spent on that itself. And after that exercise, I remember we had that discussion in Jaipur where we were just starting on the essays part, and like you're asking, Piyush, can we do that again? So what I'm trying to say is that even in 20 days time, we did not jump onto the essays right away. We did our homework pretty well, and that homework helped us structure the essays well. In fact, there were areas where we talked about in the first question. I think we talked about the space for, like, I don't remember the exact tournament name, but the rocket tournament that you and you represented your college in.
Yeah,
Space Force?
it's the Spaceport America Cup.
Spaceport America, yeah. So Spaceport America, we talked about that. So many people talk about only their professional achievements in their essays. And when we did all that analysis, we felt that this is something which should talk about. It's related to what you have done in a college, but it's something which is very, very significant and shows you as a leader. So that leadership skill, again, for ISB, especially, there are like almost all these schools will look at leadership as an important skill. But ISB and NCR give a lot of impetus to leadership specifically. So we felt that this is something where you led a team. There was a lot of ambiguity. You were very early in your career, like you just in second year, I guess, like around third year, around that time.
Second
Second year,
year.
right? So it was second year of engineering, and a lot of people don't even understand the outer world very well at that time. And doing such a big thing is something we should highlight. So again, you, if you don't do the analysis well, you would most likely just get stuck with your professional achievements. And Bhavya had amazing professional achievements to talk about, definitely. But it's important to have a right balance and talk about how the relevant things fit into your profile. So again, I just felt that this is something which all of you should know. So just added that from my side. So Bhavya, continuing on. So you worked on the like data dashboard, Star Excel, whatever we call it. You understood, your brainstorm, you identified the ideas. Then how did we go to the essays? Like, did you start writing the essays directly? What was this the process that you followed for that?
So yeah, I mean, we started off with the career alignment essay first because that made the most sense. So we knew what our strengths and weaknesses were. We knew where we had in the past experience where we have used those skills, and what were the failures, what were the the winnings in my career. But I mean, how, like, what is my short term goal? What is my long term goal? And why ISB? That needed to be answered after that. So it was not just about like writing the essay. It was more about creating a story and creating a story in my head also. So I mean, we brainstormed a lot after once I filled that Excel, and we figured out that those there were two, three strengths and weaknesses, and two, three instances that we wanted to focus on according to my short term and long term goal. So the short term and long term goal also I filled in the Excel, but there were multiple choices for the short term and long term goal as well. I mean, because as at the starting point of MBA, you don't want to shorten your you don't want to limit yourself to just one short term or long term goal, and you don't even know that even is does that make sense, and like does that whole story make sense. So I wrote two kinds of short term goals. I think long term goal was just one, but there were two different paths to that long term goal. So then we sat through and we figured out that this one makes more sense, and this would actually align to the work that I have done, and all my strengths and weaknesses add up to that story. So my and that whole process actually helped me to even just understand my whole story and understand the bigger picture. So I mean, if you want me to go into the specifics, we can go into the
I think
specifics, or we can just
specifics we can do, but the main important thing is that alignment. So you have to always look at that alignment part, and then essays become a natural outcome of it. Like you don't have to, like if the story is clear in your head, it becomes a natural outcome. So generally, like after that, I don't remember exactly, but I don't think we have to spend more than 5 6 days on the essays as well. So that was something which was
yeah. So we spend one day on the like the short term long term goal, 2 days on the long term short term goal, one day on the strengths and weaknesses essay, and one on the failure and the like the winning bit. So in within span of 4 5 days we had finished the first draft of a few essays, and like while I was completing on the first draft, you were also reviewing it. So like the whole process was very seamless because you were always there to review it and like give me feedback where I needed to add more things. So so the first draft I remember I wrote was very it was just very it was not
information.
personalized, and I didn't add numbers to it. So you asked me to quantify each and everything, like wherever it is possible, and then I went back and tried to find figures. So I mean, you remember all the experiences just as a story. But if you add those numbers to the story, it actually adds more value. So I think that that feedback I would always carry, not just in the application process, but in my career further. If you like adding just numbers to the story really helped me. So yeah, and like the whole to and fro process, and I think we were done with that, and the LOR as well. So after we completed the three essays, um, we worked on LOR. So, I mean, from whom to get a LOR. So, I explained you the organization structure, and you also understood how I should, approach my seniors. Should I actually give them a draft copy, or should I give them pointers and all? So, even that helped me a lot. Because I got LOR from the senior most person in my department, and like he sits in NA, and he is extremely busy.
I remember
So
that
for him,
discussion. Like I was pushing you to get the LOR, and then again when you are identifying the recommender, also there has to be a very proper like streamlined process you need to follow. Like you have to always look
yeah,
at what are the key things that you're highlighting in your essays. Basically, what are the instances that you're talking about, and you need to get a recommendation from someone who can actually vouch for those things as well. So you mentioned that this person sits in LA and like it will be completely different time zone. I might not get to speak to him. There would be a difficulty in back and forth. But the examples that we were taking in the second essay, which was around the strengths and weaknesses part, where we talked about your work related, I think, accomplishments essay, I think, which was the second one. You talked about your work related achievements and how you created proper training material, like how did you navigate the entire complex process and build it in-house and build the team. So that person in LA was probably the best person who can vouch for it. And that's where the identification of the right recommender is also very, very critical, guys. So make sure that when you are reviewing your recommendations, you get the recommendation from someone who can vouch for the things. And again, there are other factors also that you have to look at. I'm just giving you one of the examples of looking at who your recommender should be. So that's something which is very critical. All right. So, Bhavya, I know we have talked a lot about the essays and some great, great tips we have discussed for people who are applying to ISB in the future. But let's talk about the interview process. So, you applied in round two, 7th of December. When did you receive the interview invite for the same?
So, I mean, my interview was scheduled on 5th of January. Received it on 1st January by the end of the day.
Okay.
And
How was the feeling
it was a
when you
very,
got the interview invite? Like when you opened the mail, or like how was the feeling like? Because all the doubts that you had around whether I'll get a call with a 670 or not, how was the feeling on that day?
I was really excited and I was really, really happy. I mean, just reading that mail that I've been invited to the interview. First of all, the interviews got late. So,
Okay.
I mean, I already accepted that my score was really low, and there's no chance that getting in. And I didn't even send them a revised score. So you asked me to send a revised score as well after the application. So you said that if it is like if it's just the score that is holding me back, I'll work on the GMAT for 2 weeks and then I can give a revised GMAT. But because of my personal obligations, I couldn't prepare for that. I mean, I was in process of getting engaged also. So even that was going on a personal basis, and I couldn't. So just to be receiving that mail, that interview invite, it was really, really refreshing and exciting to start with. But then the second thing, anxiety stuck in. I was like, how am I going to prepare for interview in just 3 days? I don't have a resume, a revised resume ready. Although I have the pointers in mind because the star framework, that Excel, that dashboard helped me throughout the journey. So because I knew what to talk about in the interview, that helped me like get the confidence, and that only those pointers were discussed during the interview also. So that was great. And you also took a mock interview with me. So I remember you giving me pointers on even my introduction. So you gave me that I structured my introduction well. In this, I can add something like this. So like those minute
Soft skills
um
basically about structuring
pointers.
and how to communicate it across or something which is important. Right?
Yes, and I mean personally, I feel that I need to improve upon my communication skills as well. So
That
I mean,
that I feel is overstatement. You definitely communicated well. There's always scope for improvement for everyone. I totally understand that. In fact, when I just candid feedback from my side. So when I did the interview with you, I was pretty sure that you are gonna convert. Like you're gonna have a very good impression because I work with so many clients, and for some people, I have to like elongate the interview process so much. They know their stuff, but when it comes to speaking to the use like the interviewers, they sometimes get nervous, they don't present themselves well, but you are definitely one of the better communicators. Just a small elements, well, tiny bits of it, like how to structure things, were something which needed to be improved, and glad that we made it through. And obviously this year was like super crazy. Like ISB received so many applications. Again, for people who don't understand this, US is going through a downturn. People are not getting jobs after MBA from even top schools. So a lot of people are not betting on foreign schools this year. They betted on ISB. And in round one, they got so many good applications. Round two, they got so many good applications. This year, they took almost 2.5 months to clear out the round two decisions, which is not unlike ISB, which is like ISB hardly gives 1.5 month in that they give the decisions. And this year was like super anxious at the end of the day. Like I remember, Bhavya, we had to wait so long for the final result to be in our favor. But finally we got it. And like sitting in ISB, I'm sure you're everything is behind you now, and the next journey, the next phase for which you struggle. Like I don't want to use the word struggle, but it's like you fought for almost like 3 years, right? And then it finally
Yeah.
coming true. How is the feeling of that?
I mean, it's very satisfying to start with. The whole process helped me to helped me to just understand myself better and gain more confidence in the journey and not in the final result. But the final result is also so beautiful. The campus is really beautiful. And yeah, it just helped me a lot, and just that perseverance that I had, that resilience that I showed throughout these 3 years of journey, where um, I could have switched jobs and got rid of MBA. I could have just got rid of the dream of going for a B school. But I stuck with it, and I'm happy that I met you on the journey, and I could make it happen. I really, really believe that if you wouldn't be there as a counselor with me, it would haven't happened this year, at least. Next
You
year,
you
maybe, but it
you're
wouldn't have
like
happened.
giving you 100%. My job was just to give you guidance, and sometimes like experience helps. So basically, you don't understand the process that well as I do because I've been in this industry for a long time. So my job was just to cut through the clutter and give you the clear picture. But definitely, you have put in all the hard work, and it's a very inspiring story for a lot of people. So don't look at just one element of your application. Don't just look at your GMAT score. Don't just look at your one part of your profile, your graduation score or something. If you prepare a well knit story to the school, they will love it. And that's what is important. And that's where Bhavya made it through ISB. And we are going to have an amazing journey. Like obviously Bhavya is going to like learn a lot about ISB and so on. And I think we can do one more interview, Bhavya, later, like on ISB specifically, life at ISB and how does it compare with other B schools. And again, you're new to ISB right now, it's just 1 week, but probably we can do it after 2 3 weeks and you spend some uh, I don't know what you call it, semester will be two less terms or something like 2 3 terms, and let's have one more show for other users to kind of understand ISB better. So I think that is great. So thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule today for all of us to talk about your journey for the ISB application. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Piyush. And this is the least that I can do for you. You have been really, really helpful.